In the 1830s, American frontiersman Augustus Bulleit set out to create an original recipe for bourbon. Not just any bourbon, but one unique in flavor and brimming with character. The story of this man, lovingly passed down through generations, is the stuff of legend, as is his creation.
He became a distiller, distilled for maybe 30 years between 1830 and 1860, taking his bourbon, using it locally in a tavern he had, and then taking it down to New Orleans, Louisiana, and Memphis, Tennessee, down the rivers, which were the highways of America at the time. He ultimately didn't come back from one of these trips in 1860. However, his recipe did, that has been passed down to me through the generations.
The great-great-grandson of Augustus Bulleit, Tom Bulleit's lifelong dream was to revive the family's bourbon legacy.
I've always wanted to be in the distilling industry. It's been a dream of mine, a lifetime dream of mine. My great-great-grandfather Augustus, of course, had this wonderful recipe that I wanted to implement and bring back. Became a lawyer, practiced law for a long time, and then in the mid-'80s decided I'm just going to do this. I'm going back into the industry.
In 1987, Tom founded the Bulleit Distilling Company. Abiding by the notion that time rewards those who wait, Tom set a 6-year target age for his bourbon, which was finally produced in 1994. Bulleit bourbon is prepared without compromise, using only the finest ingredients. With a taste that's revered and distinctive, Bulleit has become the mark of a true Southern gentleman.
What makes Bulleit unique is its recipe, and its recipe dates back to the 1830s, and that recipe is 2/3 corn and 1/3 rye with a little touch of malted barley. And what that's going to do for a whiskey is going to give it a unique smoothness and a great characteristic of dryness. It's not going to be like any other bourbons that you might taste on the market. Kentucky bourbon has to be aged in a charred barrel, and we use a number 4 char, which is the deepest char, and that brings the sugars to the surface of the wood, so you get a lot more flavor, you get a lot more coloring from the barrel itself. We age everything in single-story warehouses for consistency, and everything's aged right here in Kentucky. The water source is very important to a straight Kentucky bourbon whiskey. You have to have limestone filtered water. And we get our water from the Salt River, which is a tributary of the Kentucky River. So everything that goes into Bulleit is designed to make the whiskey that you taste when you taste Bulleit bourbon.
Bulleit bourbon is one of the highest rye content bourbons on the market, so it was a natural extension when Tom extended the Bulleit brand to include another family cornerstone. This is Bulleit Rye, a small batch, straight rye whiskey with an unparalleled character of spice and complexity.
Our rye whiskey is really the fulfillment of my dream of doing a contemporary recipe for a whiskey. Our rye whiskey is 95% rye, 5% malted barley. Certainly one of the highest ryes out there. And it turns out that 2011 was the perfect time to launch our small batch rye whiskey. Our rye has been very well received by our partners in chemistry and our customers in general.
Rye is on the upswing right now because of the mixologists in the world and people making cocktails and making a quality cocktail. We're bringing back cocktails like the Old Fashioned and the Manhattan. When you make those cocktails with the quality whiskeys that we're making today, you're getting a much better cocktail, and people are tasting these cocktails for the first time.
The Bulleit brand has been embraced by the industry, and we are thrilled to see how much people enjoy it. Our daughter Hollis Bulleit is the 6th generation to carry on the Bulleit Distilling legacy. As the world brand ambassador, Hollis travels around the United States spreading the good word about Bulleit bourbon. We offer one of the most precious small batch bourbons made today. What started as frontier whiskey, made by an immigrant from France in a place called Bluegrass, has evoked one of the industry's quintessential small batch bourbons and rye whiskeys.
Enjoy the distinction and experience the legacy for yourself. Discover Bulleit, inspiring a tradition made for today. For more information, go to bulleit.com or visit us on Facebook.